This is 5 Minute Feng Shui, episode 51, 7 Reasons Why Your Feng Shui Isn't Working. Welcome to the 5 Minute Feng Shui podcast, where each week I talk about how to move energy and make money. You'll learn how to create a prosperous home and an abundant life using classical Chinese Feng Shui. I'm your host, Katie Weber, publisher of the Red Lotus Letter, Feng Shui Easing for Wealth. Each week, I'll cover Feng Shui topics that can help you improve your life, share inspiring stories, and always end with 3 easy-to-implement Feng Shui tips that you can put to work right away, and usually in about 5 minutes. Now let's get started on the 5 minutes that could change your life. Hi there, and welcome to 5 Minute Feng Shui today. We're going to be talking about a subject that I sometimes get emails about, and that is, why isn't my Feng Shui working? I think I'm doing everything right, but what's going wrong? So let's talk about 7 different ways that your Feng Shui could be missing an element, or something could be going wrong there. So let's talk about all those possibilities and maybe uncover some new ideas that maybe you hadn't thought about. And I'm excited to talk about it because this is really important subject. Because I don't want people to leave Feng Shui thinking, oh, this is just not working for me, or it's me. I don't want you to think that at all. There could be some other things going on. So if you feel like it's just been weak tea in terms of the results that you're getting with Feng Shui, well, we need to rectify that. So today's episode is all about how your Feng Shui couldn't be working and the 7 reasons why, plus how to make it work for you. So let's get started. So Feng Shui is often thought of as a decorating concept, and that's thanks in part to it often being called the Chinese art of placement. And to a lot of people, this is sort of like Japanese flower arranging, like ikebana. Now, this is definitely an art about the arrangement of flowers, their balance, their color, and texture. And a lot of people think that that's true of Feng Shui, except with furniture. So how you arrange your furniture and the colors and the textures you have and so forth. But there's a whole lot more to Feng Shui than just the way your sofa is positioned in the living room or the way that your bed is placed. Feng Shui involves direction, color, number, elements, and a really important one, time and space. So to say it's simply a matter of placing a turtle or a frog somewhere and waiting for a problem to disappear, or moving your sofa, this really oversimplifies Feng Shui to the point of making it really kind of useless. It really isn't a decorating technique. Now, you can certainly use it to decorate and use some of the principles, but it's really important that Feng Shui is looked at as a whole, and that includes addressing annual energies and problems in your homes, such as bad maintenance, leaking faucets, where the toilets are placed, the type of colors that you use in your house, and of course your own personal Feng Shui. Yeah, you actually have personal Feng Shui, and that's certain directions that are better for you than others, but that doesn't mean that you don't activate the other directions, that the ones that aren't positive for you. I'll talk a little bit more about that. So if your Feng Shui isn't working the way you'd hope, the reason really could be simple. And whatever the case is, I'm going to talk about these 7 reasons that your Feng Shui might not be working, to help you diagnose why it's not working and to turn that around so that it is gaining you what you're looking to accomplish, whether that's more love, more money, a more stable career, a happier home. And so let's get started. So the reason number 1 is you could be mixing traditional Chinese Feng Shui with Tibetan Black Hat sect. Black Hat sect works on the same basic principles as traditional Chinese Feng Shui, but with one critical difference. Placements can be completely off from one another because in Black Hat, everything is gauged by the opening to the room or the home rather than their true directions. So we've got this arbitrary placement of, the front of the house is north and the back left corner is your wealth direction, the back right corner is your love direction, and those could be completely different. So by arbitrarily assigning that you have a front of your house is always north, that can really kind of goof up your feng shui, to be perfectly frank. It's not operating in the way that the compass and the energies actually are coming through your door, whether your door is east or southwest. It could be all, up to 8 different directions. It doesn't always mean that it's north. So these are 2 very different styles, and mixing them really isn't the way to go. You really need to, as they say in Texas, pick a horse and ride it, So either go black hat and do that, and if it works for you, fantastic. But I don't think you're here today because it's working for you. Maybe you're here today because it's not working for you. It's not, or it's the way it's working is very limited, or you feel like, you want to do more than just feng shui and forget it. So if that's what's going on in your mind, then classical Chinese feng shui might be your option. Okay, so reason number 2 that your feng shui might not be working is that your feng shui could be out of balance. Energy is a sensitive thing. Feng shui that's practiced for one and only one objective, like money, I often find doesn't work so well. Feng shui is really about harmony and balance, and if everything is always tipped toward making money, then the feng shui isn't going to work as well, and it's going to work sort of like a table that has one leg that's too short. You know how that is when you go into a restaurant and you sit at a table and it wobbles. How much do you enjoy your meal? Not very, right? It's the same kind of thing. If you're only emphasis in feng shui is going toward one thing, and money, and maybe you've got, your house is dirty, or it's overcluttered, or you've got dripping faucets, or, you've got a hole in the wall from where your kids were playing indoor football. That's just gonna undermine your efforts. So we really want to make sure that when you're working with feng shui, that you're addressing your whole home, and that you're looking at the wealth that you're looking to activate, or the love that you're wanting to activate in relationship to your whole home. So we want to make sure that the home is harmonious. That means that it's in good repair, and that you activate other areas of your life so that you are well balanced and your home is well balanced. There's absolutely nothing wrong with homing in on a particular aspect like wealth or love, but it's just that when only one is addressed, then the harmony and balance isn't there, and often the results you're looking for aren't either. So we always want to look at our home as a whole and all of our aspirations, but we can put extra emphasis on a particular area. That's always absolutely a possibility and something that you can definitely do. Now, reason number 3 is desperation. When you're desperate, feng shui is elusive. Okay, I'm going to use that example, my Texan example, and that is you never get very far in catching a horse if you chase it. They will run away. If you stand there and do something in a field, and the horses are curious, and they'll come to you. But when you're chasing and you're desperate for something to happen, then feng shui is not always going to be working for you. And a good example of that is many times I get people who contact me and they're on the verge of bankruptcy, or they're on the verge of divorce, and they want a fix. They want something that they can do right then and there and turn their situations around. If I knew that and I could do that and guarantee a result, let me tell you, I'd be the richest lady on earth, and I wouldn't be doing this. I just wouldn't. It's really important to be detached about your outcome, and it's sort of like meditation. It's best practice when you have expectant detachment. You have to make changes in your home with the idea of improving your career options or your relationship opportunities and that kind of thing, but not be so attached to it that it's out of balance. I try to be detached from my clients too. Of course, there's some things I can see about a house or a business that are more intuitive, and I'll speak with certainty about those. But in general, I really try to stay detached about a house. And if you're desperately seeking a special frog or some kind of feng shui enhancement because you don't have enough money to pay the rent, this is a type of desperation that can make good feng shui something like a slippery fish. It's hard to find and even harder to hold on to. If you're having, I actually had a consultation with a woman who said she lived very far north in where they get, snow in terms of feet. And they were turning the heat off on her house the next day. This I did not know before I took the consultation. And she told me that, she had 2 young toddlers at home, and you just can't, have no heat and minus 0 temperatures. And I told her, I don't care what you have to do. Let's forget about feng shui. I just gave her the honest truth, which is, I don't care what you have to do. You can get in your car, let's get off the phone, get in your car, drive down the street. Anywhere there's a help wanted sign posted somewhere, you walk in there and apply for a job. Then you call the utility company and say, I applied for a job today. Can you please give me an extension? You can call my employer and work it that way. Well, she's ended up being one of my longest running clients, and she's done so well, and we've worked on her feng shui year after year, and I'm so proud of her, and life has really changed. But in that case where you're really desperate, you've got to take action for yourself. So whether that is getting counseling, marital counseling, if you're desperate to save your marriage, or you're desperate for a job or income, you've got to go get the job. That's where it's called protective feng shui. You have to do the things that protect yourself. You can't rely on a vase of flowers to do all the heavy lifting in your life. So really important if you're very desperate to think that it's your actions in addition to your feng shui that are going to make the difference for you. Critical element, letting go of your emotion and being attached to an outcome is helpful. So practice detached, expectant detachment. Okay, so let's talk about reason number 4. Reason number 4 is a favorite of mine, and this is not addressing the time aspect of feng shui. So this is one of those differences between classical Chinese feng shui and black hat feng shui. Black hat feng shui is kind of static. Once you do it, you're done and over and out. And that's great. If that's what you want to practice, that's terrific. But to me, classical Chinese feng shui takes into account time. And you know how you can have one year that's absolutely fantastic and the next year it's in the toilet? Time feng shui makes a lot of sense. And in fact, feng shui actually began as an early observation of time and watching the stars in the sky, and as they changed and as time progressed, and then noticing that as time progressed, how did that change the landscape? Well, the trees lost all their leaves, it was winter, but then what did that do in terms of the house? What did that do in terms of how people lived? And from what year to the next, what type of energies that would come in from one year to the next? That's why Asian societies really pay close attention to the year of the zodiac animal, because that zodiac animal brings in a whole new set of energies each year. And I really love it because this particular type of feng shui, the time-space feng shui, it's how does time affect your space? Makes so much sense to me because, in fact, I used to not, truthfully, hand to God, I did not want to practice time and space feng shui. I didn't want to pay attention to the annual cycles. I just wanted to feng shui and forget it. And I didn't want to pay attention, certainly, to the monthly cycles either. But then I ignored it, and I thought this was I thought I'd done enough in my feng shui, and I didn't really want to do any more. And what I ignored was a serious affliction. So each year we have positives and we have afflictions. And I didn't pay attention to the affliction that year. Well, my bedroom was in this particular corner of the house, and my bed was in the southwest. It was a southwest corner, and it was in the southwest corner of the southwest sector of my house. So it really made a huge difference. And in terms of how my life changed then. Now, the Southwest rules the stomach region, and in that year, I suffered with the most horrible stomach infection, and it was horrifically painful, very difficult to diagnose, even though it was a really simple thing. It's actually was called Helicobacter, and Helicobacter is the bacteria that's responsible for ulcers and can often turn to stomach cancer. And I'm gonna tell you, I seriously thought I could not continue living until I got this addressed, and doctors kind of like, poo-pooed me, and I kept telling them, well, I had just been overseas in some remote areas, and could it be a bacteria infection? And finally, I had a doctor who actually recognized what it was, tested me for it, and I was treated, and I didn't want to kill myself any longer. I mean, it was that bad. And let me tell you, from that year on, I paid very close attention to the annual energies. And let me tell you, nothing like having a knife to your stomach, or the feeling like a knife to your stomach, and then somebody twisting it around to change your outlook. So if you have not been paying attention to the annual energies that come with each year, next year, 2020, is going to be Year of the Rat. It's going to have all new energies. And this year is the Year of the Pig. It's got a different set of energies, and they're in different locations. And that can make the difference between an incredible year or a year where you do want to kill yourself because you're in so much pain and agony. And I don't want you to have to do that. So it's really important that you follow annual Feng Shui. It's so important, in fact, that I put it above everything else. The annual Feng Shui takes precedence. It's above your personal Feng Shui. It's above your home's natal Feng Shui. It is the most important energy because it's the most active energy in your home at that time. Okay, so hopefully if you have any questions about annual Feng Shui, go to my website, check out annual Feng Shui. You'll see Year of the Horse, Year of the Rat, Year of the Rooster, and so on, and information about annual energy. All right, let's talk about reason number 5. It could be just your place is a mess, or it just doesn't look good. It's not pretty. It's unattractive. And when I talk about a mess, I'm not talking just about clutter. I mean, like dirty. Truth be told, there are plenty of cluttered homes with great Feng Shui and non-cluttered homes that have awful Feng Shui. But in Feng Shui, everything isn't about clutter. We've had way too much of banging on the clutter drum. There's a whole lot more than just clutter, and that is, I like to put the emphasis on the positive, not the negative. And the positive, not enough space, not too much clutter. That's a negative. Not enough space. That's the positive. It's also a matter of cleanliness. This is just plain basic stuff, right? So your closet doesn't look like something out of an organizing company ad in a magazine. But that is not the end of your Feng Shui world. But if you've got a filthy house, that can be. Dirt is a magnet. Clean is so important because clean is good. It brings good Feng Shui, and grime is extremely negative, whether that's dust, pet hair everywhere. This is an epidemic, y'all. Bathtub mold, you name it. There's a lot of sense around just keeping a clean house. I mean, how many happy, successful people do you know that live in a filthy home? They just don't. I'll venture that you don't know any. So get out your rubber gloves and the cleaning spray and get after it, and you will instantly improve your Feng Shui. That's because a clean house is a lucky house. Now, if you have a home that's unattractive or has bad smells or it's arranged awkwardly, that can torpedo any good chi that you're trying to build. Now, you don't have to live in a mansion with designer furnishings. That's not what I'm talking about. But your home should look appealing, and it is arranged to welcome energy. So move furniture out from the wall so energy can move around. Make your home look its very best. Clean, sparkling, these are key. Pretty is good Feng Shui. Beauty is its own best chi. So put your home in a clean and appealing state, and this instantly will lift your chi. So if you don't have any plans this weekend, get out all your cleaning supplies. I tell you what, I love to clean. I actually do. Unfortunately, I don't have enough time to do it, but I hired a company who loves to clean. That's a difference than people who clean houses. Let me tell you, there is a huge difference. The cleaning lady I have working for me, I love her so much because she loves dirt and grime. She loves to clean it, and she hires people who feel the same way, and I'm so lucky to have her because I feel that feeling that they have after they've cleaned my house. I don't only have a clean house, but I have them. I feel like I've got cleaning commandos that come in and they're like, I'm gonna get that grout clean no matter what. So anyway, look for a housekeeper if you can't get in there and do it yourself. Maybe you got arthritis or something. Find somebody to hire you. All right, so let's talk about reason number 6 your feng shui is not working. Could be just plain old bad maintenance. If you've got a huge crack in your mirror, leaking faucets, gutters falling down, or your windows are grown over with plants, you are fighting an uphill battle. Repairs have to be made, and regular maintenance of your home should be looked after. Make sure that maybe you've got a window that's broken. Maybe you don't know that. Or paint that's peeling. When a home is poorly maintained and then you try to apply feng shui enhancers, that's like adding a bouquet of flowers to a burning house. Make sure that your home's maintenance is looked after and that you repair all broken items. Even a loose, jiggly door handle or a door that scrapes the floor every time you open it, that lowers your home's feng shui. Maintenance is so important for one, especially in plumbing. If you find that your bills are running up, get out there and check every hose, every faucet, look under the sinks. A lot of times when all of a sudden we're burning through money, I'll go and look under the bathroom sinks and kitchen sinks and the laundry room, check at the dry or the washer to see if there's a leak. A lot of times when money is running through your house, it's because water's running through your house. So attend to all those leaks and repairs. Okay, reason number 7 that your feng shui might not be working is that your landscape feng shui is working against you. Now, if the outside feng shui is not good, it doesn't matter how good the feng shui is inside. You can place all the wind chimes and frogs and turtles you want, and good feng shui is going to be hard to muster. You've got to look at the outside to see what's happening on the inside, because all energy starts from the outside and comes in. When you open your door, you're bringing all the energy from the outside in. That's what your house is fed on. So you want to look and make sure that you have good feng shui around your house. That means no dying shrubs. That means no dead trees that you leave. Even cut off tree stumps. Very negative feng shui for you. So important. You always want to make sure that sights outside of your house. So when you open the door, you look out windows, you're seeing beautiful sights. You don't want to see your neighbor's, yard or with the old clunker parked in it, that kind of thing. Or maybe you've got, an area where the grass has died. You want to make sure that is always attended to. The other thing you want to make sure, you keep plants in control. If plants are touching your house, that means a tree limb's rubbing on your house, that kind of thing. It's going to draw energy off of your home. We always want to make sure that all the plants around our home are healthy. They look attractive. I mean, one of the best ways that you can instantly lift your chi is just to do good landscaping. Good landscaping is one of those things that realtors call curb appeal. So absolutely, if you want to make an investment in your home to lift the energy and bring it way, way up, landscaping. Get a landscaping plan and put it into place. Get some flowers outside by the front door to help kind of lift the energy. It's always important to work on your landscape feng shui. It's one of the simplest and easiest way to improve your feng shui and keep your house with growing and vital and attractive chi energy. All right, there you've got it. 7 ways that your feng shui might be working against you and not working for you. So let's talk about your 3 tips for today. Tip number 1 is pay attention to time feng shui. So important. Always pay attention to where energy is moving for the year and the month, but in particular the year. You want to make sure that you understand what the year can bring and how it's going to affect you in the year ahead. So important to do. Here we are in October of 2019 and headed toward the new year. As the new year comes out, I always do an annual forecast, and it will explain exactly what you need to know, and it's written for every house direction, every Chinese zodiac sign, and will tell you exactly what you need to know so you can tell what's coming down the road. I don't know about you, but I love that crystal ball effect. I like to be able to see what's coming in the year ahead. So pay attention to time feng shui. Tip number 2 is keep up with your maintenance. Flowers just don't do anything if you've got a giant scuff on the wall by the front door. If you open your front door and it's a mess, it's cluttered, there's shoes everywhere, that's not exactly auspicious, right? Or if you open your door and it scrapes up against the floor, or the handle is wiggly, keep up all the maintenance around your house. It's so important. Don't let that gutter hang. Don't let those trees touch the house. Make sure all your plumbing fittings are nice and tight. If you've got a leaking toilet that runs all the time, that's money running away from your house. So keep up with that maintenance, and it will lift that energy and help you when you want to do energizers for feng shui. Tip number 3, keep a clean house. A clean house is a lucky house. There's so much you can do to lift the qi and improve your feng shui just by keeping a nice clean house and keeping it regularly cleaned. Spend 20, 30 minutes going around the house at night or in the morning, whenever your energy is highest and whenever you like to do it, and pick up and clean. Keep it nice and clean. Keep the bathroom sparkling, the kitchen counters clean. It really makes a huge difference in the type of energy, so that when you do feng shui enhancements and activators, you don't have this grimy house working against you. And we don't want that, right? We want a clean, well-maintained, and attractive home to help lift any energy that we apply toward making feng shui changes or enhancements. All right, there you go. There's another episode of 5-Minute Feng Shui. As always, I love having you. Thank you so much for being here. I just want to say how much I appreciate your listenership and what it means to me that you're here on this podcast listening. And stop by, send me an email, shoot me a note and say hi, or if you like the podcast, I love hearing from you. And in the meantime, get to work on that feng shui. It's going to do wonders for your life. Thanks for listening today to 5-Minute Feng Shui. Be sure to join me on Facebook at facebook.com/Feng Shui Katie. And if you're really ready to move ahead quickly, head over to redlotusletter.com and sign up for my free 4-week e-course, 28 Days to Prosperity. You'll get daily lessons and tips on how to get unstuck and create financial flow in your life. Make it a fantastic day.